Hey, Mr. Simpkins, Mr. Ramirez here. So we're gonna jump into the transposing. You mentioned matrices pretty specifically, so we're gonna go over these. I feel you know how to do this one. It's pretty much the same. You got rows and rows, columns. So if it's row one, place two, it's this one row. Sorry, column three, row two, it'd be that one, right? So these ones I'm pretty sure you know how to do. But I think you mentioned these ones, these transposing ones specifically. And actually, I promise you, it's pretty. It looks difficult, but I promise you, it's easy once you do it. So I'm going to show you how to do the first two, and then I want you to do the third one on your own, and let me know if you understand it. And if not, we can go over it again. So basically, what you got to do is you look at your original here, right? We have our original as Y. Now I'm going to choose a more fun color because I like green. Nope, that looks stupid. Red it is. Nope, blue. Okay. Okay, so we got Y, right? This is our matrix Y. Now to transpose it, all you do is take the first column, right? In fact, let's assign each row a color. Assign each row a color. Let's make that blue. Let's make this one red. So we start with our first row. 1, 3, 5, 7. To transpose it, all you do is turn the row into the column. So 1, 3, 5, 7. There you go. That's our first row. Now we go to the second row, green. All right. 0, 1, 8, 9. And there you go. See how we're just turning the rows into now the columns? That's all we're doing. So then we do this one, right? 1, 5. Is that a negative? I can't tell. Yeah, it's a negative. Ooh, let me go back because why not? And I'm sorry for my handwriting. I am using a mouse. And also, in the future, try to get a little closer because it would just make writing a little easier next time. So I'm going to turn the thickness down even more. Okay. Ooh, I'm going to full blow up my arm. Okay. So third row becomes our third column. Negative 1, 5, 9, 0. And boom. There you go. And what's our dimensions? Oh, Lord. I have forgotten how to do dimensions. Okay. Oh, yeah. So just had to think about it. Yes, so dimensions, right? Since our rows and our columns, this should be a, yeah, this is a 3, because it has 3 columns, by 4, because it has 4 rows. See that? 1, 2, 3, so a 3 by 4. And there you go. It's that easy. We'll do this one again. Hopefully I'll write smaller. We'll try. We'll do the same thing here. Let's assign our colors. We'll make, whoops, that's too big. 10 pixels, you would think it's not too big. Our first row will be blue. Second row green. Third row red. And I would maybe suggest doing this with some colors if you have them, just so you can visualize yourself and keep track. So let's move this down to 3 pixels. All right. So our first row comes our first column. Let me. Do you have? Make sure you have this part up here. I'm going to back up a little bit, really quick, because it's in the way. Undo, please. At least, yeah, there we go. All right, let's assign our colors again here, just so we can remember. Blue, green, red. There we go. So our first row becomes our first column, right? So we got 0, 4, 8, negative 2. There you go. Now we move to green. Second row becomes our second column. 1, 5, 9, negative 3. So 1, 5, 9, negative 3. That simple. Third row becomes our third column. And it becomes 2, 6, 0, negative 4. And there you go. It's that easy. And our dimensions, just like up here, 3 by 4. It's that easy. It looks difficult because honestly, with matrices, they are quite they're just a lot of numbers and a lot to do, and it looks like a lot, but I promise you, once you just kind of understand the rules of it, it becomes quite simple. And then with transposing, all you do is take the rows, turn them into columns. Now remember, always start from the top. So for example, this is our row 1, right? Like this is row 1. Actually, we'll just put a 1 there because you see what I'm saying. This would be row 1, but it turns. Let's use this visual. We'll use our second visual down here, 1.12. Our first row becomes our first column, right? That's a 1, I'm sorry. Our second row, right, becomes our second column, right? I'm not adding numbers here, just remember that. I'm just annotating the numbers to the rows and columns for visuals. And our third row, right, becomes our third column. That's it. That's all you gotta do. You can literally just number and then number here, and then just take these numbers inside the matrix, add them in, and there you go. Or you can do what we did originally with the colors, or however you want to do it. But I want you to do that one. I want you to do that one for me. Shoot me a message and let me know if you got it, if you understand it, and just keep me informed, man. I hope that helps you. Now, I think we've gone over inverses a few times, so I'm going to do this one here for you. I'm going to show you how to do it, rather, not do it for you, and then I want you to do the other two by yourself. So let's just do this one. I'm going to erase the bottom two right now, just so I have room to work, because I don't have, obviously, oop, Jesus, that was, whoa, sorry, wrong button. I'm going to erase these two down here, so I have room to work, and to show you work. Oh, I was almost perfect. Did you see that? I'm stupid, I'm sorry. I'm a little OCD when it comes to this kind of stuff, so bear with me. Okay. Just a little room for me to work. Alright, so what color do you like? I like the blue on Paint here, Paint 3D. Alright, so we have to find the inverse, right, of f of x equals negative 3x minus 6. Now, remember what I told you, what f of x is, what it really means when it's asking you for this thing, and something that will help you. Remember, f of x is just y, right? So we could just replace this with y, right? Now remember, that's what we went over a while ago. But also remember, when you're trying to find inverses, the first thing you should do, remember, is to turn the f of x into the x, right? And the x into the f of x. Now, that may sound like magic voodoo, but I promise you, all you have to do is take this original equation we have, right, and turn it into this. So our f of x becomes x, so now we have x equals negative 3, and our x becomes f of x. Whoops, I can't even annotate today, apparently. Minus 6. That's all you gotta do. So, now what do we do? Well, to get our inverse, we want to get f of x alone. I see here, quickly, if you look up at the original problem here with me, I want to point this out. I don't know why they did this to you, other than to trick you and confuse you. Right here it says f of x, right? We're looking for the f of x, but all our answer choices are g of x. Yeah, don't worry about that. That's they're being kind of rude there. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of a it's kind of a tricksy move that I do not appreciate, but they did it nonetheless. So now what we should do is just solve this equation. Let's go back down here. So now we have turned our f of x into x and our x into f of x, and we've just rewritten the equation, right? So now all we have to do is solve. So we need to solve for f of x. We need to get f of x alone. Now remember, the steps I recommend are always to get rid of the whole numbers before you start getting rid of variables and all the numbers in front of them on the etc. So we'd start with the only whole number on this side, which would be -6, right? Because this -3 is multiplying by the f of x. It's a little more complicated. We want to do addition and subtraction first. So we have -6 here, right? So to get rid of a -6, we need to add 6 to both sides, right? We'll let's go down first, and then we'll move up. So we do that. These will cancel out. Let me make that less big. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay. So that'll cancel out and become 0. But over here, we have an x and plus 6. Those can't combine, so we have x plus 6 equals what we have left? -3 f of x, right? So we almost done. Good Lord, English minor here. We're almost done. But what we have left over here, what do we have left over here besides the f of x? That -3, right? And that -3 is multiplying against the f of x. So to get rid of it, we have to do the opposite of multiplication, which is division. So we need to divide both sides by -3. So -3 over -3, those will cancel out and become 1, so we'll just be left with f of x on this side. But we need to divide this side also by -3. Now, I believe you've taken trig. There is a rule in trig that comes along with the laws of cosines and sine with this top part of the fraction here. You see I'm circling it over here. So what that means is, first, let's rewrite our equation, okay? We're going to rewrite it up here. So over on the left, right now we're with x plus 6 over -3. If you can see what's going to happen and what it's going to be, feel free to just go right to the answer. But for now, let's just... Oh yeah, for now let's just keep going here. I was just making sure that I was going to get the right answer, and I am. We're fine. So f of x. Always check yourself too. I'm not always right, I promise. So there's a law in trigonometry that involves this top part here, because we're almost done, but we have this weird combined fraction, and we don't have anything like that up here. You see, everything is by itself, its own thing. So how do we get rid of it? Well, basically, all you do is if something is being added and they have the common denominator down here, right? They have that common number. They're both above the same number. You can split them up if they're being added or subtracted. So we have x over -3, right? And then we just take, they're still being added, right? But to 6 over -3. You see how these are the same things up here? That this is the same thing as this. Let me make these 3's a little better. 3's with a mouse are really hard, because like you don't want to mess it up. Anyway, so this obviously and this are the same exact thing. That's all they are. So we can immediately see that we're pretty much done now, right? You can't simplify x over -3, so that becomes -x over 3, right? Plus, and 6 divided by -3. Ooh, it's not actually a plus. I got ahead of myself, see? 6 over -3 is actually a -2, right? Equals f of x. And then we look back up at our answer choices. And that's not that one, right? Could be that one. It could be this one here, right? But there's no negative sign on the x over 3, so it can't be that one. And then here, can't be that one. So our answer is B. So this is a good little thing on how to do inverses. You can always go back to this video for this. I know this is our inverses stuff we've gone over a few times, so if you need help, come straight back to this if it does help. If it doesn't, let me know. We can get together on a share screen chat, maybe Google Meets or something like that, and I can show you in person in real time so we can go over it a little bit more. So I hope this helps you. If it doesn't, please let me know. All this remote learning stuff is new for all of us, so I hope it's working out for you. I hope you're staying safe, Mr. Simpkins, and I hope everyone in your family is doing well. Have a great day, Mr. Simpkins, and send me messages about the 1.13, all right, ma'am? Have a great day, sir.